Hey, welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLain, and this is the wonderful Gwen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Let me ask you, did this time change mess with you a little bit?
Yes, my brain is so confused. It
Because I'm
is
looking
so
right
confused.
now. I'm looking, and it's really time for my show, and I'm still getting sunlight, and it's
Oh,
just,
I don't like it.
it's messing me. My wife does not like it. She doesn't like it at
Oh,
all. Mhm.
me either, honey. Me either. I'm confused. I'm like,
Yep.
this is weird.
Yep.
It'll take
Yep.
me a couple weeks to get adjusted, especially with all the shows and stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. And I see that we have some newer
we do.
shows coming on too. So that's pretty exciting. So how many do we have set right now?
Well, now not every show is going to be every week. Um,
Okay.
but as of right now, and I know there's more to come. The last count we have 23. But like I said, not everyone has started, and not everyone is going to be every week. Some are going to be specials, like the one we do, Haunted Sister Diary. Myself and Lee Triana, we're going to just do it here and there, just kind of whenever. The
Okay.
Radicals are coming, but their show is not going to be every week. Thomas Patrick, he goes by Thomas Patrick now. He's coming back with Profiled. He's starting it up, and yeah, we've got Sherry Collins, the Kraken, and we've got other ones to come to that I just can't mention yet, and they're coming.
Yeah, I see that.
we're,
Yeah, I see that. It's exciting. It's exciting to see all these new people. But then I ask myself, I'm like, that's gonna put a lot more on you too, and that.
I have learned that when I need the help, I do ask for it. Um,
Okay.
when I need it, I ask for it, and when I don't, everybody offers, and that is wonderful. We have a great, network family, and I could go to any one of you guys and say, "Hey, could you
Yeah.
please?" And I don't ask, so when I
Yeah.
ask, it's legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm
For
doing it.
sure.
I'm sorry, I'm not at home, and this chair is crazy, and this light's different, and it's
Right. Right.
so yeah.
Well, guys, tonight, I'm really excited about
Me
having
too.
this guest. I reached out to one person who's already been on, and within minutes, and this particular person has been to over 100 locations and has so much experience, behind these locations. Let's just go ahead and introduce him, Nicolas Santino.
Hello. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, we appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Like I said, this show's pretty, or it's like we're all sitting on the couch talking.
Yeah.
I just believe the more organic you are with it, the better the show is.
Yep.
So, why don't you tell us who you are and a little about yourself?
Well, I'm Nicolas Santino, co-founder of Experiment Paranormal. I actually met half my team at Pennhurst State School and Hospital in November of 2020 when I was actually a tour guide for Pennhurst. And by January of 21, we had a team formed. Myself, Jackie Schumann, Renee Bush, and Troy Therestein. We are on Facebook, Experiment Paranormal 1, and Instagram at Experiment Paranormal. Together, we have gone about 50 locations. Me personally, I've done probably close to 100. Um, Natural born clairvoyant, saw my first apparition at 3 years old, did my first investigation at 6 in Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia. And ever since then, I've, grown up watching Taps every Wednesday at Sci-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Started with,
I think everybody
right.
is, you
Start.
know,
I started with what was it? Most Haunted with Yvette in 2003, 2004. Started watching that. So I've always been with me and looking forward to whatever comes next, whatever's going to be thrown my way.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Um, you said you were a tour guide at Penhurst. How was that, and how did you get involved with that?
So I knew about Penhurst. Obviously, you know what it is. I didn't know much history on it. I knew about the tunnel system. I knew it was an institution. I knew it was, Lake Byberry and Lake Waverly Hills, kind of, as they say. Um, but I didn't know that it was haunted. I'm like, all right, there's no way it's haunted. I just don't see it being haunted. I don't really see asylums being haunted, because why would you want to be stuck there after you've, had to deal with all the trauma and abuse? Why wouldn't you want to move on? That's just how I think. But clearly I was wrong, because the first night that I was there, I was actually doing security for the haunted attraction in 2018. And I had a hood on, I had my hood tugged, and I had my pant leg gripped, like if this child, hugs upon you.
Mm-hmm.
And the following year, they asked me to do security again. I was in a different area, had a hay in my ear. Okay, I know I'm the only one here right now. Yeah, there's many guests. Nobody's going to come up and say hey in my ear.
Right.
Watching people go up and down these catwalks, run for their lives, grown adults in costumes, scaring the hell out of people. Who whispered in my ear? That following October, I get a email. We're looking for tour guides. You were referred to us by one of our old staff members. Come in for an interview. Hired on the spot. She's like, all right, you start Friday. Do my tour. First thing is, I remember you. EVP, clear as day. I remember you. You remember me. Okay. I don't know who you are, but I remember you guys, I guess. And ever since then, it's just been Penhurst. And that was for about 5 years. I was just back
Wow.
to back.
Have you always gotten activity from Penhurst? Because I've heard mixed stuff there, that like people, like you would think like the tunnel systems would have it, but I've spoke to a team that didn't get anything in the tunnel systems, but yet got
Right.
something at Penhurst itself.
I've had things follow me home. I had a little girl follow me home from Penhurst one time. She was messing with my lights in here. Literally like Morse code, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. I'm like, what's this? Where are you from? 1 2 3 4. I'm like, all right, cool. So are you from Penhurst? Lights go crazy. I'm like, you got to go home, ready to go home? Lights go nuts. I'm like, all right, I'm going back tonight, so I'll take you home. Hasn't been back since. I don't want her to come back. But I mean, yeah, I've gotten things where I've literally had a door slam in my face. I've had someone light a cigarette in my face and blow it. I have had heels come down a hallway at me. I've had balls thrown at my head and glass shatter. I've had rocks thrown at my face. I've come in contact with the demonic entity, and I don't like to throw that term around, demonic, in this field, but there is definitely something that is not human at Penhurst, and it actually attacked my friend Jenny Lynn, and she really doesn't like talking about it that much. I was there with her that night. It was in June of 21. I physically watched something latch itself to her. But then there's also the times where I've been there the dead of winter and nothing at all. And there's times where there's been bare feet in one of the Devon buildings. I'm like, all right, so who's walking around here barefoot? Because I'm not, she's not, you're not. So it's, if you've never been before, if they're going to do what they say they're doing, which is turning it into an AI data center, I would go. But personally, right now, I don't think it's as haunted as it used to be, just because of how desolate the campus is becoming. But it's still a really cool spot.
Do you think like that darker? Do you think that it was possibly brought there?
I think it was brought there when it was abandoned. So from 87 until 2008, when Randy Bates purchased it to turn it into this attraction for 2010. He does Bates Hotel and Haunted Hayride out in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia. So he purchased it originally, and then more people came in and turned it into the Penhurst Asylum, what it is today. I think with people coming in there, going in, going out,
That's what
doing
I'm saying. Yeah.
seances, yeah, I do think somebody brought something in who shouldn't have been doing that, and it has been stuck ever since.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of locations that you go to where people don't want you doing certain
Mhm.
things, and I know there's certain teams out there that if you tell them something like that, they almost do it regardless.
Right. And yeah, I've encountered that myself, and I'm like, good luck. Good luck. So, yes, I do agree that definitely somebody did something, brought something in, maybe did a seance, didn't know what they're doing, did a ritual, don't know what they're doing. But
Right.
it's only in one spot, though. It's in the Devon building, which is one of the larger buildings on campus, and it's an H
Right.
shape, and it's in the basement. And it goes by the name of Dave, and you know it's there when you start to smell the sulfur, when the room gets darker, you kind of get disoriented, you feel sick, things target women. Yeah, like a lot of the women who go to the campus, go to Penhurst, they get cramps, they get sick, they get nauseous. They get the feeling of being touched, being groped, and I'm like, all right, yeah, you want to go or you want to stay? Like, what do you want to ride it out? You want to
And it's
interact
just
with
in
it?
that building. It's just in the Devon building.
It's in that building, but then it also travels to the Rockwell Tunnel, which
Oh,
is
it'll
where,
follow people around.
yeah, which is the spirit of Skippy. I don't know if you've heard of him or you've heard of his name with Penhurst, but Skippy was this supposed, I don't even know, maintenance guy, janitor guy who would abuse children or touch kids, and I don't really believe that part of the story. I don't even think Skippy's a real person. I think it's another, entity. I think it's
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
I just don't. I don't really believe the whole Skippy story at all. I've never had any contact with him. The only thing that's ever happened to me in the Rockwell Tunnel is I had a black slimy mass just kind of go over top of me, and I felt it, and I'm like, all right, what was that? Like, but there's an area which is it's Skippy's door, and it leads the Quaker basement leads to the Rockwell Tunnel, and apparently he's stuck in between the two doors, and you bang it, you bang back, and I'm like, well, you're banging on a hollow metal door, you're gonna bang that, nothing's in the building, it's probably gonna echo. So
So when you're doing security and everything, like when you're working security in a place like that, like how many people are working security with you? Like when you're on,
so when
is
I
there
was,
like,
I don't do it anymore. So when I did do it, it would be one person stationed at the front gates of Penhurst, one person stationed in their car at the back entrance of Penhurst, and then maybe two people up at the maintenance building, which controls all the lights in the building and all the campus. So you had about four people on site at all times, plus whatever team was there. But when I was there with my friend Jenny, it was a private. So she's like, "Hey, come meet me. They know you're coming. You're good." It's just her, me, and her friend CJ. Just three of us and one security girl. And that night was, no, that was insane. The whole campus went black. I'm like, no one's at maintenance. No one's controlling these lights. She's like, no, no one's here but us four people. Like, so why'd all the lights go out? I'm not walking a Rockwell tunnel. Jenny's down there. She's doing a Facebook Live for like 3 hours. I'm like, this live is only supposed to go for like 45 minutes. I'm not going down there. Yeah, it was that happened in June of 21, right a week before I had to get a heart catheterization. Surprise, I have a heart defect. So I think that also is why I'm so in tune with the paranormal world. I mean, open heart surgery is
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
So yeah,
I have end stage renal failure. I was born with one kidney.
sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry about yours too, man. I mean, I mean, you think that has something to do with your clairvoyance, or is that
I
something
do.
that you've always known?
I've always known I can see dead people. I've always known I could, speak to the dead. I mean, I remember my first paranormal experience. It was Christmas Eve, 2004, driving home from my father's home in Philadelphia. And we get to the intersection where, my town is. I'm from Norristown, Pennsylvania. And I say, Mommy, there's a yellow-haired lady, and she's tapping on the window. She's in a white dress, and she has a pink wrapper on, and she has red shoes with gold buckles. She got red long nails. She's tapping at the window, and she has no face. And she slowly just faded. I didn't see her face. It was skeleton. It was mushy. I knew she was beautiful at one time, but I didn't see anything. That's all I saw. I just saw that skeleton mush. I don't even know how to describe her face. There was no facial features.
It didn't scare you?
No, I was intrigued. I had imaginary friends growing up. I would sit in my closet and talk to things. I would look upstairs and just point until I was 3 years old. I would point to ceilings and point to the corners of rooms. I was born under a full moon. The night that my mom went into labor with me, she heard something. She was looking out the window and she said, I heard a deep male say, prepare yourself, it's time.
So your mom has a gift also.
She has some gifts as well. I mean, she would, she's 57, so she grew up in the, 70s, 80s and all that. And, she's like, growing up, I would go to friends' house, we would have sleepovers, and we were so scared to sleep outside one night, and I wasn't, but we all moved into the house, and I was like, I'm more safe outside. There's something in your house. And one of her friends used to have her makeup smeared, light bulbs would smash in her house. So yeah, my mom's always been in tune to the paranormal, and definitely in her bloodline, there's definitely something, because my grandmother, her mother, has had experiences as well. I mean, my grandmother lost her father at 15, and a week afterwards, she's like, oh my God, he's drunk. What's he doing at the bus stop? Oh my God, he's been dead for 3 years. What's going on? Why am I seeing my dead father waiting for me at the bus? What's happening? And then 2012, she loses her husband and she got woken up dead of her sleep. Nance, get up, wake up. So she's definitely, my mom's bloodline has some gifts. My sister has it as well. I mean, my sister and I, we lost our uncle in 2007, my dad's brother, suicide. And after he passed, she's like, I see him. I see him every single day. He's in the house. He's here. She saw him on my 8th birthday. She passed out in my kitchen. She said, I just saw Uncle Jay. He was bloody in our bathroom. My mom's like, you saw your dead uncle? She's like, yeah, he's always with us. So yeah, I mean, my house is haunted. My dad's had experiences. My grandmother, everybody who comes over has something. They see something all the time. They're like, yeah, you're not alone here. I'm like, I know. It doesn't scare me. It's never scared me.
See, that's interesting because, like, I'm clergy. I'm with the Order of the Archangels. I'm a Knights Templar. I am in spiritual warfare ministry. So actually, like, I work residential cases. I work to try to help, families that are dealing with paranormal activity. And a lot of people that have theirs, like the first time I ever had a paranormal experience, I was 10 years old, but it wasn't scary to me because I saw my grandfather.
Yeah.
And that's what let me know that, hey, there's something else here.
Yeah.
And
there's a void.
Yeah, and I mean, like, once you have an experience like that, I mean, like, people can tell you what they want, but I mean, perception is reality. But the thing is I know what I saw. No one could tell me differently. And even being in ministry, trying to break the stigma that everything is demonic.
Yep.
I started this podcast, this Bridging the Seen and Unseen, to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. And I like working with teams, and like teaching about proper grounding and cleansings, and just clearing a house's getting rid of negative energy, stuff like that. I like being able to help
Yeah.
and help people. So but I get it. I get it. Some people, like you said, like if I would have seen like a girl, like a blonde head girl like that at my window that didn't have a face and it just looked like melty like that, like I don't think I would be as calm as what you were.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't cry. And I remember it. I have a very vivid memory of childhood, and
Well,
I'm like, my mom asked me one day, she's like, do you remember I said, yeah, I remember what happened. I remember what she looked like. I know exactly what you're talking about. Even like locations, like the place we're going to talk about soon. I remember watching Ghost Hunters, and before they even said the house, they showed a picture of the street, and I said, Mommy, I've been there. I was 4 years old. So I've been there. I know I was there.
Wow.
People can tell me. I mean, I'm told by 4 mediums, Bianca being one of them, you have a connection to Lizzie Borden.
so Lizzie Borden. All right. Speaking of that, you just went there. You just got back from there. I know that you've been many, many times. For those who are not familiar with Lizzie Borden, the Lizzie Borden house, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Little backstory before we kind of dig into it all. On August 4th, 1892, prominent businessman Andrew Jackson Borden and his second wife, Abby Durfee Gray Borden, were found brutally murdered in their home at 92 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, in broad daylight. Andrew was struck 10 to 11 times to his face and his head with a sharp, blunt hatchet, they described it, and Mrs. Borden was struck between the back of her neck, her shoulder blades, her nape, and the back of her head.
Wasn't it like 40 something times?
No. So that was actually, I'll get into that in a minute. That's actually
Okay.
fake. Yeah. So prime suspect is Andrew's 32-year-old daughter, Lizzie Andrew Borden. They had 3 other suspects: Uncle John Minicum Morse, Lizzie's birth mother's brother, her sister Emma, Bridget Sullivan, the Borden's maid, and a mysterious man ice cream peddler, Hyman Labisky. He was automatically dismissed. Uncle John's dismissed. She has an airtight alibi. Emma's dismissed. She has an airtight alibi. She's away in Fairhaven getting a dress fitting. Bridget has an airtight alibi. She's outside washing windows by Mrs. Borden on the opposite side of the house when Mrs. Borden's killed. And when Mr. Borden's killed, she's upstairs in her bedroom. The only person in that home at the time of the murders
Was Lizzie.
was Lizzie and Mrs. Borden, Lizzie and Mr. Borden. Did she do it? I don't know. She's arrested. She's put in jail, in the Taunton jail, which is today it's about 25 minutes away from Fall River. In 1892, it's about an hour and 15 carriage ride. So it kind of, it's far. And the only way to be arrested in Fall River as a woman at that time was prostitution. Could not be arrested for murder in Fall River. They had no jailhouses in Fall River for women. You had to go to Taunton. You had to go anywhere else besides Fall River. So she's put in Taunton. She's in jail for 10 months until trial date can be set. And an axe was not used, I will tell you that much. Axes are very heavy. They're large, and there's no way that she, a 5'3", 5'4" woman, probably 110, 115 pounds at that time, could physically hold that and continue to go at that. There was definitely a smaller instrument used. But going back to that, she's held in jail for 10 months. Her trial is 13 days. She's acquitted in under 90 minutes of everything. And
She's acquitted.
She's acquitted. She lived her life out in Fall River. She changes her name in 1894, 1895 to Lizbeth Andrews. Her sister leaves her in 1905. They never speak again. Lizzie dies June 1st, 1927. Emma dies 9 days after. They're 9 years apart. They never spoke again from 1905 until their death.
Wow.
And no one knows who did it. The case is technically still open. There was no blood found on Lizzie. There was no bloody footprints. There wasn't even a lot of blood spatter. Blood spatter from Mr. Borden. There was some on the wall, a little bit on the painting that hung above the sitting room, some on the doors, and his blood was fresh. It was seeping. And it actually seeped through the carpet down into the basement. And the blood stain is still on the beam in the basement today. Whereas Mrs. Borden, her blood was coagulated and cold. So she's been dead. She was probably dead the fourth time. By that fourth hit, she was gone. If Lizzie did it, which I told Gwen earlier, I didn't think she did, but now I definitely do think she has done these murders. And I'm glad that she's passed and, she got acquitted. That great for her. It's 1893. They didn't really know what they're doing back then, but, Mrs.
So
Borden,
do you think maybe you think maybe like maybe that house was possibly affected before Lizzie,
I don't think the house per se.
or the land?
I think the land definitely has some energy. It is, right near the Coquentin River. It's right near rivers. It's surrounded by river. It's surrounded by Native American towns.
Mm.
Freetown State Forest, which is home to Colts in the 1970s. But also, it's Fall River. You're right near Boston. You're right near Somerset, Massachusetts. You're right near Swansea. And a lot of those towns are Native American tribe named after. So I do think there is some of that there. But also in May of 1848, Lizzie's great aunt and uncle, there was a murder that happened next door. Her great aunt Eliza Darling Borden murdered her 3 children, and 2 of them died, and 1 of them escaped, or as they say, I'm not sure if her oldest daughter was home at the time, but 1848, Eliza Darling Borden murdered her children, Eliza and Holder. She drowned them in the cistern of the well in the basement of the yellow house next door to the Borden's house, and then she went upstairs and slit her own throat with her husband's straight razor.
Oh wow.
And it is said, and I've experienced this, that the children of Eliza and Holder come over to the Borden house. And I have a reason for that. I think they are attracted to Mrs. Borden, Abby, as a motherly figure. Mrs. Borden is painted as this 250-pound evil stepmother who hates her stepdaughter. She hates her husband. She only marries Andrew for the money, which is partly true. The Durfees, especially Mrs. Borden's family, really wasn't that well with money. So marrying Mr. Borden, very wealthy man at the time, that's a cushy convenience for her. I got a life set. Yeah, I got
Financial security.
financial security. Exactly. I got to raise these stepdaughters. Now they're, as my own. She couldn't have children. She tried to love Lizzie and Emma. Keyword is tried. She tried to be a mother to Lizzie and Emma, but Emma was not having it. Nope. Emma, you are our stepmother. You're not our mother. Our mother died when I was 12 and Lizzie was 2. And I promised my mother to always look after baby Lizzie. And as Lizzie and Emma's birth mother, Sarah Anthony Morse Borden, was dying, literally on her deathbed, she called Emma into her room and said, promise to always look after baby Lizzie. And yeah, I mean, Emma really had control over what Lizzie said and what Lizzie did. You don't call her mother. You call her Abby. You call her Mrs. Borden. You don't associate with her. You don't associate with her family or her kind. And it got up to this point where, Lizzie had a good relationship with Abby. And it wasn't until 1887 when there was a deed transaction that took place where Abby's family was kind of, falling on a financial hardship. And she brings it up to Andrew, and Andrew says, oh, well, I'll just, put the house in your name. I'll put my father's home, my childhood home, into your name for your family. Emma gets word of this, and Emma literally says to Andrew, what you do for her, you ought to do for your own daughters. And I'm guessing he kind of got the hint because one of his last bank transactions from that was when he purchased the house back and gave it to Lizzie and Emma and said, "Oh, well, I don't know what you're going to do now, Abby, and your family, but, I got to do what's right for my kids. My kids are right." Yeah.
So it stayed. So
Yeah.
it stayed with them. I saw something in there in the comments there that somebody said a hatchet. I mean, would that would probably make more sense, with
I actually have a replica of one if you want me to grab it.
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
let me grab it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get it. Let me put a light on too. I actually picked this up in Massachusetts. I gravitated towards it clearly. This is what it most likely would have looked like.
Hmm.
And it is from Boston. It has a Massachusetts engraving up here. But yeah, it's probably maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds. It's not heavy at all. But I mean, it can do damage. And if you're holding it close like this and you're going at somebody like that, you're straddling somebody, where's the blood going to hit you? The blood's going to go right here in your face. It's not going to go anywhere. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense on why there's no blood spatter anywhere. And I mean, looking at Mr. Borden, his blood spatter's halfway on the wall, like I said. There's not a lot. It's all directly to the face and all directly to the back of the head. So it's definitely possible that a hatchet was used or a hot iron to iron handkerchiefs.
So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think really caused Lizzie to finally snap like that? And to just to end it with her dad and everything.
From what I can say about it, in my personal opinion, I think it was just, years of physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse at times. Mrs. Borden knowing things that she shouldn't know. Mrs. Borden
And probably not doing anything about it.
She's knowing things and she's not doing anything. But also the fact that Andrew has all this money in the world, and here he is in, the clapboard section of the house district. He's all the way down by the city. She has friends who live up in the Highlands, was where she wants to live. She has cousins who live up in the hill. They have all these lavish expenses. They got hot water. All her friends have hot water. They have the gas lighting. They have telephone. They have all the things that Lizzie wants. And here she is with a privy in the basement, well water, kerosene lamps, sitting in the darkness. Doors are locked in every single room of that house. She has no freedom. She's not allowed to do whatever she wants, but she does anyway. She's very rebellious, Lizzie. But at the end of the day, I think she just had enough of it. Enough is enough, and the only way out is to kill you. But also, other thing is, Mr. Borden is supposedly to have a will. I don't think he ever made a will. And if he did make a will, in that will was if Mr. Borden dies before my wife, if I, Andrew Borden, die before my wife, my children get nothing. Everything goes to my their stepmother, my second wife. But if Mrs. Borden dies first, everything goes to my girls. What had to happen?
Oh,
Abby is
yeah.
close. Abby saw her killer. They both saw their killer. There's no defense wounds on any of them. No defense wounds anywhere. They saw their killer. She's face to face. The first hit to Mrs. Borden is right here to the left side of her temple. And it peels back her skin, exposing her skull. And it causes her to fall. Now, historically, she's probably about 250 pounds. She's short. She's round. There's no way you couldn't hear anything. The only way you can't hear something is if you're in that room. No wonder why Lizzie didn't hear Mrs. Borden fall. She killed her.
Wow, that's crazy.
There's no way she couldn't have. Now that I'm looking at it and hearing myself talk, there's no way that Lizzie Borden did not murder her parents.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, what's some experiences that you've had there?
The first experience I ever had at that house was 2008. My family and I went up for a tour. Now, they still do reenactments every August 4th, which is fun. It's actually really interactive. They get a lot of shit for it, but you know what? It's pretty cool. You walk through the house, you get to meet the cast, you meet the characters. At the end, you figure out, who done it, who did it. Was it Lizzie? Was it John? Is it this mystery man? And we're in the parlor. And this tour guide picks up a picture of Mrs. Borden, Sarah Borden, Lizzie's birth mother, and says, "Did you know this woman was murdered upstairs?" Me being me, I'm 8 years old. I say, "Oh, no, she died of uterine congestion, which is when your ovaries combust inside." Abby Borden was murdered upstairs.
How old were you?
I was 8.
Wow.
And I hear a big thud from upstairs. Okay, cool. That was my first experience. And then ever since then, every time I would go, it would be either a knock, which, that happens on every paranormal location. My most profound experience though at that house was my 16th birthday. I said, I want to go up for my 16th birthday. I want to spend it in Salem, and I want to have my birthday at that house. And I had a cake, and I had a hatchet in it. It was red velvet. It was cool. And we're all in the kitchen, and I hear from the dining room, "Emma, the boy's back." And everybody turned around. There's nobody in the dining room. We're all in the kitchen. It's me, my grandmother, my mom, my dad, my friend Sue Vickery, my friend Robin Bertolo, who were previous tour guides there. And everyone, "Oh, yeah, he's back. Do you know him?" "Yeah." Spirit box session going. "Happy birthday, dearie. Happy birthday, child." 2015, when I went for my 15th birthday, my dad and I spent the night at Bridget Sullivan's room. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to a ball about this big from the corner of a room. It came right at me. It circled the bed 3 times. And it grew to about 5'2", 5'3". And I got out of bed and I followed that light. I walked through a door. Now, this is an old latch, the latch comes down kind of door. I'd never opened that door. I know what happened. I walked through that door, and I walked down those steps to Mr. Borden's room, and I saw Mr. Borden. And he said, "Welcome, I've been expecting you." Turned around, and I went back upstairs, and I went to bed. Woke up the next morning, and I said, "Yeah, let's play back an EVP. I want to play back what we got." And on the EVP, you hear me say, "Oh, it's me and Dad. We're spending the night in Bridget Sullivan's room." I mock her. And I play that part, and there's an Irish woman going, "Excuse me, sir?" There's no Irish woman staying in that house. It was me and my father in that home that night. Who was that? Who was that? There's no way. I know for a fact. I was like, there was nobody in this room with us, and we didn't hear it. Class A EVP right there. 2022 with my team. My girl Renee, she saw Mrs. Borden. We're doing an investigation that night. I have 2 REM pods out, one in the sitting room, one in the parlor. And I'm like, "How long have you known me?" "Under or over 100 years. Light up. Which one?" Both the REM pods, over 100 years. Cool. I've walked into Mrs. Borden. I've walked into Andrew Borden. I've woken up to Lizzie. just staring at my bed, literally home in this bedroom. I woken up to Lizzie Borden. I woke
In
up.
your house.
Yeah, she visits here. It's very, very quick. I have a thing of hers in my room. It's a doorknob. Well, it's not a doorknob. It's a like an icebox door that you used to pull, like one of the knobs. I think it was actually a doorbell knob. But yeah, I have one of hers. I'm from Maplecroft that I was gifted in 2021. But I mean, I've woken up to Mrs. Borden running around the bed at the Borden house, and I've stayed in the guest room. I've had the front door unlock of me when I know I've locked it, and I know I'm the only one in the house. That happened 5 years ago. I was there by myself, and I locked the front door. And they got the automatic locks now. Update the technology. I get it. And I lock the front door, and I walk to the kitchen, and the kitchen door unlocks, and the front door unlocks. So I go lock the kitchen door, and I go back to the front door. The kitchen door unlocks. I'm like, all right, Mr. Borden, what are you doing? Both doors lock. Okay, all right, you're still here. So they're hanging out. I've had so many experiences there. It's insane. I mean, I just called an EVP. I tried to share it with Gwen and put it up on here, but for some reason it won't play. It was just a group. They at the Borden house now. They do these nighttime investigations, which is pretty cool. It was like 2 people, and
I couldn't get it to play for you.
Yeah.
I tried again.
yeah.
Mm.
And I'm sitting in Mr. Borden's chair. Well, not his chair, but against the window, and I'm looking at a picture of him. And I say, I've known you for 20 years, but historically and spiritually, we've known each other for 170. And it's something. I don't know what he says. He says something because it wasn't me. I don't have a deep Southern, not a Southern, but like the heavy Massachusetts accent. I don't have that. The guy Spencer, who was the tour guide, he doesn't have that. So, and there was no other men in that room. So who said something? And then after those guests left, I was alone in the house. And this was my first time being alone in that house since 2021. And at 5:30 last Thursday morning, I hear rustling in Mr. Borden's room, because Mr. Borden's room goes to Lizzie's room. Lizzie's room goes to her sister's room. X, Y, and Z. It's very rabbit run like, door to door to door. And I'm like, all right, so who's in this room? So I open up the door, and I walk into a blob of light. And I said, good morning, Mrs. Borden. No, it was her. And I smell floral. Okay, you're wearing your perfume. Okay, nice perfume. Drop her some money. I go on the house tour, and a good friend, Megan Alves, who is I think I'm saying her last name right. Megan, if I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry. She is a tour guide at the house, and she also portrays Emma during the reenactments. Whenever they do the reenactments, they do these Victorian history tours now, or these history nights with tea. And it's Elena and Megan who play Lizzie and Emma. And Megan's giving me the tour, and we're wrapping it up. And we both got hit with floral in the basement. And she's like, did you smell that? I'm like, yeah. I just walked through her again. She's like, what do you mean again? I'm like, I walked through Mrs. Borden this morning. She's like, oh, well, she's here. She says hi. I'm like, hi. So, yeah, they're hanging out. They're definitely still there. They know they've been murdered. They like talking about their murder. They really like speaking about it.
They do. They do. That's crazy how you say that, because like I've talked to teams who, now I don't know if this is true or not, but I've talked to several that have tried to reenact, what happened in that house to see if they can generate activity. And I've only this is the honest truth. I've only spoke with one team that actually said they actually got, an EVP that was from it, but nothing visual, nothing, no knocking, anything like that. So, I mean, do you think they like talking about it, or do you think that maybe it's a little old for them, that they don't like talking about it as much?
I personally think that they do not like the shock docs that are made about them. They don't like the, the movies that are made about them that portray Lizzie as this man-hating lesbian who hooks up with her maid and hates her stepmother and hates
Is
her
that what
father.
they say about her?
There's a lot of theories that speculate that her and Bridget had this lesbian relationship, and that Abby caught Lizzie and Bridget in bed together. I'm like, no, there's just Lizzie's not a lesbian. I'm gay myself. I would know if I would know if a woman's a lesbian or not. No, she's not. And I'm like, there's no, just because they have a close relationship doesn't mean anything. They liked each other. Was Bridget probably a bit scared of Lizzie? Yeah, Lizzie had this odd temper about her, and she could snap at any moment, and she was described like her mother was described, like I was telling Gwen and you guys earlier. Sarah Morris was described as queer and peculiar. Now, whatever
Yes.
that means in the 1890s, I don't know. I don't know. You said the anniversary of the murders. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I don't know what pure, queer, and peculiar mean, but I mean, she's an odd woman.
Like odd,
Yeah,
like a not that didn't fit in back then. Remember how I was saying, yeah, like I think
It
that's
would
what
be
they mean.
difficult. It would be difficult to, I mean, like, even if she was back then, I mean, the chances of her like coming out and saying it is probably like very minimal, like there could be
Right.
some bad stuff happening to people back then.
Right.
Shane, there's a question. Yeah, I'm sorry. Shane can't see it. That's why I was. Go ahead.
It says, question, has Lizzie Borden actually admitted that she murdered those people in the house? No. And I don't think she's. Can you hear me? See
Yeah,
what I mean?
it went out for a minute. Somebody didn't want you to read it. Yeah.
See what I mean?
It says,
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
To
okay.
answer
Anyway, the
question.
question is, Shane, I'm going to try. It said, question, has Lizzie Borden actually admitted that she murdered these people in the house?
No.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't think she has. I don't think she has. But I think I've heard through EVPs and through spirit boxes that others have come through and have clearly said, who has done this, and every single one that's come through has said Lizzie.
The reason I also agree with everybody who says Lizzie has done this, and like I said, I've always been on the fence of Uncle John. He's a butcher by trade. He knows how to execute quickly. But why?
But was he in the house though?
No, that's the thing. He has an airtight alibi. He's visiting relatives. He's in town. He's there on the morning of the murder, and he leaves around. I have it right here. He leaves around 8:45 to go to the post office, and then he visits his niece at David Emery Way, number 4 Way, Boston Street, which it's like a 35 and 40-minute walk. He's so cheap, he takes a walk there, but then on the way back, he takes his train car back, supposedly. I really haven't found anything about that train car that he takes back, but he's accounted for at number 4 Way, Boston Street. So he's not even at the Borden murder.
So there's no way that he could have done it.
There's no way he could have done it. Andrew left around 8 o'clock in the morning. Bridget is instructed to wash the windows. Mrs. Borden goes upstairs. Lizzie's in the kitchen. She's going to say, I'm going to go iron a piece of tape onto a garment. She has a hot iron. She's ironing her handkerchiefs. That's what she says. She goes upstairs. She never mention that, hey, I'm going to leave my hot iron down in the kitchen. She just says, I go upstairs and I'm going to baste a piece of tape on a garment. And all of a sudden her stepmother's murdered. But she says she has no idea. She thinks she's in the barn looking for lead sinkers for a fishing trip that she's going to Marion, Massachusetts on that Monday. She's going for a fishing trip. And she's in the barn. She says she's looking for lead sinkers and that she's going to eat some pears. And then while she's in the barn, she goes back into the house. And then she, talks to Bridget. And she tells Bridget, there's a cheap sale of dressings at Sergeant's Goods this afternoon. Pennies on the yard. You go have some.
Hey, Chris Mack, this made sense to me. It's like playing a game of Clue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's your
Throwing all
classic,
kind of stuff at you. Yeah.
it's your classic Agatha Christie whodunit kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now, do you think you had mentioned earlier that it's possible that if the mom or stepmom dies first,
Mm-hmm.
then everything gets left to the girls? Do you think that was possibly her way of thinking? But then I've also heard that possibly her dad woke up while she was in the middle of doing it.
Like when you say he woke up, do you mean in the middle of
Like he was opening his eyes right there, and then he would have clearly seen.
the hatchet?
Yeah.
I agree to an extent. So here's a picture. I have a picture right here of Mrs. Borden. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but
Oh, is that one of them that I downloaded?
I don't think I put this one. I put the back of her head when they shaved the back of her head. But right there, there is a handkerchief. And it's a small white handkerchief. It's not part of her shirt. It's not part of her dress. If she's upstairs in the guest bedroom dusting, she's a 64-year-old woman. She's dusting. There you go. All right. So there's okay.
Okay, there it is.
So there's a handkerchief right there. Okay. Now she's supposedly dusting and she was cleaning up the guest bedroom. August 3rd, 1892, Uncle John Morse spends the night in that guest room. He actually spent the night August 4th as well in the same room. Don't know why. He's an odd guy. He's like a cross between Abraham Lincoln and Will Ferrell. literally like him. He's very sketchy, very quiet guy. But we're going back to the story with Lizzie and her handkerchiefs, and she's ironing. What's laying next to Mrs. Borden? What could have been wrapped up in a handkerchief?
Yeah.
A hot iron? The handkerchief falls to the floor after the first blow. It's heavy. It's, iron. It's a heavy instrument. She puts that thing back on that hot stove. Everything kind of just sears away. There you go. Mrs. Borden's dead. She's done. And the reason her skirt's bunched up is because part of her ass was showing and some of her leg was showing. So there's no way that we can't photograph this woman. No, we got to cover her up. She's actually found a little bit under the bed almost. And medical examiners moved her to that spot. So I don't know how Mrs. Borden was actually found, but I do know she saw her killer. She was most likely on her knees at the time. And she was fixing up the bed.
So she clearly would have seen it first, but do you think it possibly that it came to where Lizzie had that thought, well, we would get everything if she wasn't here? Do you think that possibly had something to do with it?
Oh, from 1887 on. I mean, ever since that whole D transaction, and that is when Lizzie stops calling her mother. She starts calling her Mrs. Borden. She starts telling her dressmaker she's a no good for nothing thing. And it's evident in town that there is a rift between Mrs. Borden and her stepdaughter.
Oh, is that it?
This picture is taken in the guest room.
Yeah, yeah.
So this picture is taken in the guest room. And in my personal opinion, when Lizzie and Emma lived there from 1872 to 1892, that guest room was used as the girls' entertainment room when they would have guests over. Very rare for Lizzie and Emma to be able to, have a guest over, but when they did, they would entertain that, and it was their sewing room. Have a little party, if you will, hang out. There's a photograph, if you go through, there's a picture of a girl standing up, and she has like the gingham dress on, kind of. That's Emma Borden. That one. So that's Emma. Around age 14, when she was sent away to Wheaton Seminary, and I think it's in Norton, Massachusetts. It was an all-girls school. She was sent away for a little bit so Abby and Lizzie can kind of get acclimated with each other. Here's the older stepdaughter. She's going to go away. She's going to go do her schooling. That was taken when Emma was around 14, 13. And the photo that we just showed, pretty sure that's Emma.
Mm.
And it was August 4th, 2022, the morning of. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, guys, let's go. You know, they're going to start these tours at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're the only guests in the house at this time. Everybody else has left. Renee's like, can we just take a picture? One more picture. And she's a photographer. Bad vibe for that pic? I disagree. I mean, that picture probably took a good hour to take. I mean, you know, it's Emma's also she has a very stone cold face. Emma, they're sweet girls, Lizzie and Emma, but Emma was more stern, definitely. But I mean, if I had to be 14 years old standing there with my arm on a chair for that long, my arms hanging down, I'm in a corset, I'm in a hoop skirt. Here we go.
Yeah, there wasn't many smiles back then either. Like a lot of pictures that were took, they don't smile.
Very stone cold. But Renee, she's into photography, and she's like, I want to take a picture of the house. And I get home the next morning, and I'm like, yo, who's in the guest room? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's a picture, and there's somebody in the guest room. And I blew it up, and she's like, oh my God, show that picture of Emma. I'm like, there you go. That's Emma board.
Wow.
The picture you just showed was when Harvard medical doctors decided they were not going to tell Lizzie that they were going to shave the back of Mr. and of Mrs. Borden's skull, you know, back of her head, to kind of examine the wounds. They shaved the back of her head, and then they decided to boil the flesh to get the skulls. Lizzie and Emma were not told about this. Obviously, that Lizzie's already distraught. Emma's distraught. We don't want to make you more distraught, but we are going to boil the flesh off of your parents, and we are going to take these skulls, and we are going to examine them. And during court, one of the final days of the trial, here come, I think it was Hosea Nolan, which is the district attorney at the time. Here he comes to the box. He opens the box. He takes a hatchet, puts it right in the skull. Lizzie falls. She faints. Was that for show? Probably. Lizzie's a very good actress, you know. She was very good at faking things and getting her way and being defiant. Did she fall for people to feel bad for her? Most likely. But are you also falling because, oh my God, my parents have just been murdered? I probably did do this murder. I know what happened. I know it was used. Oh my God, now they've caught me. There's no way. I'm in shock. I'm going to faint. Obviously, you know. I would if my parents were brutally murdered and all of a sudden here their skulls are presented to me in court and there's a hatchet put in my father's skull.
Yeah, you see what was done. Like,
and you finally see it and it hits you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So she faints, and yeah, they basically called it off. You know, you bury them, put them back. They were supposed to bury them 6 feet with the victims. They bury them 3 feet. So it's the victims, and then it's a little box with the skulls buried underneath. Yeah.
Well, Nick, we're right at about an hour, man. So I know we got to cut it because Gwen's got multiple shows, especially tonight. But why don't you tell everybody on here how they can get a hold of you, and if you know, through your social medias and whatnot.
So it's Expirivit Paranormal. I can link it. It's EXSPIRAVIT Paranormal 1 on Facebook, and then Expirivit Paranormal on Instagram, and on TikTok, and on YouTube. We try to post mainly on Instagram. Facebook isn't really our friend. It doesn't like to, you know, go over the reels. Don't really post well around Facebook. So, and YouTube too. It's hard. You guys know YouTube's hard to build a following on that. So
it is.
Instagram is where we're most active, and yeah, that's how you can follow us. And the next place that we're probably going back to the Borden house because my guy Troy, he's never been. A lot of my friends have never been. They really want to go. Bianca being one of them. She's like, I want to see this house. Jackie, she has vivid dreams of the house. I'm like, yeah, dude, you need to go back. So we're probably going back there. I don't know, maybe May, and then we're going to Waverly Hills in August.
Awesome, man. Well, I'd like to have you back. This hour went by way too
Very
fast,
quick.
but
Yeah.
it always does. I'd like to have you back when you have, so we can just jump right into it and get it. If you don't mind, let's do a round 2 eventually.
I'm down.
Awesome, man. Awesome. You've been an awesome guest. You've been extremely knowledgeable about this, and I think you've answered a lot of questions that a lot of people in the paranormal field have had for a long time.
Yeah.
And did you say something, Gwen?
No.
I could have sworn I just heard you say something. Yeah, somebody. I mean, it clearly said, "Hey," something said, "Hey," come right through here.
Nope.
Wow.
Told you.
All right. Well, Nicholas, thank you so much for coming on, man. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
Looking forward to talking to y'all. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Well, guys,
All right.
Nicolas Santino, the guy's filled with knowledge. He's been everywhere. So please look him up, follow him, look at it on Instagram, just go and see what he's about, and he's wealth of knowledge. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for spending this hour with us. And we look forward to talking to every single one of you. You guys stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.